Hello, this is Kelsey Larson, doing a case study through Ball State University. The course is SPCE 638-803. So I'll be talking about a client and describing their records here. So the client is a male, 6 years old. He is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder as well as ADHD. He attends ABA sessions 20 hours weekly, as well as full school days 2 times per week. His communication method is verbal. He requires echoic prompts for novel mands, and he also has echolalia, which is when a child repeats back what the instructor says without any instructional rationale to do so. Some behaviors of concern are vocal protests, physical refusals, aggression, and SIB. The verbal behavior assessment was used to assess verbal operants such as mands, tacts, listener, visual, intraverbals, as well as assessing play, social, and pre-academics like math and reading. So the first assessment was done October of 2022, and that is where you see the client in level 1, mid-range level 2 of the VB map. His current score is listed in purple, and he falls in the level 3 of the VB map. His score is 138.5, and this shows that he has made a lot of progress thus far, while we are still finding deficits in social, linguistic, manding, and he's made a lot of progress in listener, math, visual, and play throughout ABA thus far. So we also looked at the VB Map barriers assessment with our client, and this is the Verbal Behavior Milestones Assessment and Placement Program. The barriers assessment is used to identify the child's learning in the environment and define areas where they can learn more effectively. So the client had a score of 28 out of 96 possible. The lower score suggests that there are moderate barriers affecting the client's learning, and these are in areas like behavioral problems, instructional control, intraverbals, social skills, prompt dependency, generalization, and dependency on reinforcers. We also completed a VB Map transition assessment, and this assesses the skills needed for participation in less restrictive environments. The client received a score of 68. So this assessment scores from 1 to 5, with 1 being low and 5 being high. There are 3 categories of transition skills in the VB Map, and these include academic independence, learning patterns, and self-help, spontaneity, and self-direction. The score suggests there's a more naturalistic educational environment to be used, and this will be more effective for the client to generalize the skills learned during his ABA service. So some reinforcement and punishment contingencies. He receives positive reinforcement. This is reported by parents and teachers giving access to preferred items and activities when SIB or aggression occurs, which increases the likelihood of engaging in the tantrum and vocal refusals. Negative reinforcement is observed during therapy when removing and delaying non-preferred tasks, and this leads to an increase in the likelihood of the client engaging in the behaviors in the future. There's also difficulty with consistency across environments in home and school. Client's behaviors, we have vocal protest, aggression, physical refusal, and SIB. Vocal protest is defined as an occurrence in which the client exceeds voice volume of normal talking voice indoors when not engaged in play with yelling needed or in response to a demand. Some examples include yelling no, whining accompanied with crying with or without tears. Non-examples include yelling yay when playing. Aggression is defined as an intentional force contact with another individual with sufficient force to leave a mark or audible sound. Examples include hitting staff with an open hand or biting staff in the arm. Non-examples include tapping the shoulder to ask a question and high fives. Physical refusals include any occurrence of the following, defined as lying on the ground, pretending to sleep, throwing. Examples are throwing a toy when told to sit at the table. Non-example would be laying during play conditions and imitating a peer's refusal. So SIB is defined as head-butting objects with force making an audible sound, open or closed hands to head, or head on a surface with force making an audible sound. Examples include smacking the face with an open hand, and non-examples include crashing body onto a crash pad as intended during play. A functional behavior assessment was used with indirect interviews with the parent, as well as the use of ABC data sheets with pre-selected antecedents and consequences for each behavior. The hypothesized functions for vocal and physical refusals, as well as aggression and SIB, are discussed. So when presented with a task to transition to a non-preferred activity, the client is likely to exhibit refusal behaviors such as vocal and physical refusals to escape the task, functioning as escape avoidance. When an item or activity is unavailable or withheld, the client is likely to exhibit maladaptive behaviors such as aggression to gain access to the preferred item. Function would be socially mediated access to tangible. When an item or activity is unavailable or removed, the client is likely to exhibit maladaptive behavior such as SIB to gain access to the preferred item. Function as socially mediated access to tangible. Your assessment gives results leading to a hypothesized function for all the behaviors. The function for vocal refusal and physical refusal is likely maintained by access to tangible, SMA 2.3, and socially mediated escape, SME 4.0. The function for aggression is likely maintained by socially mediated access to tangible, SMA 2.3, and the function for SIB is likely maintained by socially mediated access to tangible, SMA 2.3. We also completed an indirect assessment with the parent using the QABF, and this was scored by the mother to look at a scale from 0 to 3 for each target behavior. Listed below are some of the results. So vocal and physical refusal received a 12 for tangible, 10 for escape, 8 for attention, and a 5 for non-social, and 2 for physical. Similar findings were aggression, where the tangible had the highest score and physical had the lowest score. So this leads to our hypothesized function of tangible maintained behavior